I mean, because you could have just said, I want to go get an extra job at the mall.
Okay.
I want to be...
Ma'am, since
Your Honor,
we've been together, since 2008, she hasn't started working until actually about 3 weeks ago. It's her actually first-time job. Hooking or stripping?
It's not hooking.
You're selling your body for money. Hooker.
No, it's not.
Anyway.
Hang on to your seats, folks, because Mr. Clark just entered the courtroom like a storm, ready to claim that he was the real and true father of little LaCurney Clark. The tension's sky high, and emotions are raging like a river after a storm. Is he really the daddy, or is this just wishful thinking wrapped in a dad's hope? Buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride into the world of courtroom chaos.
Mr. Clark, why are these results so important to you?
Because it's a little child's life at stake, and my life is at stake too. And she's everything to me. She's my princess, and I really care about her.
And so you are convinced that you are, in fact, the father. But you say, Ms. Bolden, that's not the case.
No, ma'am.
As the courtroom drama intensifies, Ms. Bolden drops a huge bomb of a news. The night that could change everything involved Mr. Moore and a hotel room, sparked by a row with Mr. Clark. What is even happening between these two? I cannot tell. With the paternity puzzle pieces scattering, everyone's left grappling with her bombshell confession. Is Mr. Clark's belief that he is the real father just a house of cards about to crumble? Well, what Ms. Bolden reveals left me shocked about the truth.
And we had an argument about bills, as usual, about his half on the bills. He stormed out the door, so I stormed out the door too. I called Mr. Moore, and we had got a hotel room. And that night I had sex with Mr. Moore, and that's the night I think I conceived.
Poor Mr. Clark remembers the time that he had trust, that the baby was his, and did everything for her. From prenatal appointments to signing the birth certificate. Poor guy. He's really been all in from the start. But Ms. Bolden's counter-claims throw shade big time, suggesting her subtle hints during the pregnancy were breadcrumbs leading to a different dad. I cannot believe how she got away with that.
After, did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor.
You did?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let me see that. Jerome, please. And so, Ms. Bolden, all this is going on, and he's signing the birth certificate, and he thinks this is his child, and you know, in your mind, you say that it's not?
Yes.
So, during your pregnancy, during the child's birth, did you ever say anything, give a hint?
Yes, ma'am.
Things are getting worse. The plot thickens with Mr. Moore stepping into the spotlight, hungry for a DNA test to claim his fatherhood rights. Meanwhile, Mr. Clark's bond with LaCurney stands unshaken, and he says he really feels like that's his baby. It is such a sad situation, but as the emotional winds howl, everyone's on edge. What if all this love was for nothing? He also says he did not find out about the cheating until after the baby was born. But Ms. Bolden says otherwise. Things are not adding up at all.
This was after she gave birth to LaCurney.
So you had no clue until afterwards.
Right.
Ms. Bolden, you're saying that you told him specifically before.
Yes, I did.
So at what point did you tell the other man that he was a possibility?
He already knew. He never had doubts of my baby. He always said he just wanted the DNA test.
Just when you think the drama can't get any more worse and confusing, the DNA results are ready to slice through the suspense. The courtroom holds its breath. Will Mr. Clark's paternal instincts be vindicated? Is that really his baby? Or was it all for nothing? I really don't know what's about to happen. The envelope's tear might just tear apart more than just paper.
Mr. Clark or Mr. Moore is her biological father. It has been determined by this court that the biological father is Mr. Clark. You very happy? That's good. Ms. Bolden?
Yes.
How do you feel?
I mean, I feel the same.
When the judge asks how she feels, Ms. Bolden just gives a cold answer. But the judge asks an important question that changes everything.
Do you want Mr. Clark to step up and play a bigger role in her life?
To be honest with you, Your Honor, no. It's just we don't get along.
He does have a legal right to see his child. Wouldn't it be easier on LaCurney if you all could figure out some type of visitation and a way to work together?
Yes.
Do you want to work on that, Mr. Clark?
Yes, Your Honor, for the baby's sake.
Miss Lusk is fighting for her life in this court, and she says that Mr. Page, despite his untimely death, is the father of her daughter, Samurai. This is a really, really strange case. The supposed mother of Mr. Page, Mrs. Page, is absolutely pissed. She fires back with claims of dishonesty and says this woman is a liar. How do you even resolve a drama like this when the father is gone? Get ready for a deep dive into the heart of this family drama.
You and your mother say you have no doubt whatsoever when it comes to knowing who your 3-year-old daughter, Samari's biological father is.
Yes, Your Honor.
Unfortunately, the man you claim is her father has has died, and now you find yourself facing off against his mother, who is just as convinced.
As testimonies unfold, the air in the courtroom is thick with tension. Miss Lusk shares her trials as a young mother juggling school and parenthood, her partner gone too soon, leaving behind a storm of controversy with a skeptical potential grandmother. Her story is truly sad, but is she even being honest, or is she just making stuff up? Honestly, I cannot tell at this point. The entire courtroom also looks befuddled.
So, Ms. Lusk, describe to the court how difficult this situation has been for you and your daughter.
It's been more than extremely difficult. Being pregnant at 16, having to still go through school. These past 4 years, everything has been on me and my mother. And I feel it's completely unfair because he has a whole other side. She has a whole other side to her family. My daughter is beautiful, and you missed out on 4 years, almost 4 years of my child's life.
But Miss Page is not letting this go. She thinks, like any good mother, that her son remained loyal to another love. She says Miss Lusk is lying through her teeth, suggesting a financial gain linked to an insurance payout. Well, the insurance stuff isn't far-fetched, but let's see what happens next here.
Unless it's proven, it's not my son's
You
baby.
never posted it on Facebook.
Miss Lusk. Knew nothing about her.
You said you have an insurance policy.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so this insurance policy is in the amount of $50,000. You submitted that paperwork to the court. It is your testimony today that Ms. Lusk is...
The judge hears both sides out and lets them build their case, but even she is left confused about the truth. With a child's future on the line, the courtroom finds out more stuff. Miss Lusk has not even spent a lot of time with her child, but she says she has been prevented by force. Miss Page is not going to let her lie, though, so she fires back with her version of things. All I can say is, wow.
To be honest,
yes,
I don't
This
want
is my first time
around
seeing you, Miss Anderson.
Yes, it is, and my first time and hopefully last seeing you.
The feeling is mutual.
Okay? Because we don't
Listen,
want you around.
but if, if the baby is, this will not be the last time you all see one another. And that's why I don't know why we carrying on up in here today like this.
The judge asks Miss Page if she would want to stay in her son's kid's life, and she says no. Why, you might wonder? Because she can't take the drama. Pretty weird to abandon your grandkid because you hate the mother. Honestly, these people are really weird.
Miss Page, to watch you shouting and shouting at this young girl because you are more than double her age.
Double.
I know this is not really what you want to do, and I know your anger and your frustration, but when I ask you if this is your son's daughter, do you want to have a relationship? And you say, I don't know because I don't know if I can take the drama.
Now, after all those tears and screaming and shouting, we finally are about to find out the truth. And truthfully, I cannot tell who I'm rooting for here. Everyone holds their breath as the judge finally reveals the truth.
The probability of relatedness between Miss Page and Samari Page is 99.96%.
4 years, and I never asked nothing of you. I never asked
my son been deceased. You're supposed to do what you got to do as a mother.
Stop arguing. Both of you all are in so much pain.
Strap in, folks. We're diving into a whirlwind of accusations and shattered dreams as Mr. Dark disputes his role as the father of Ms. Bailey's 11-month-old son. He claims the timelines don't add up and says that cheating has destroyed their once promising relationship. Will this court session mend their fractured past or shatter them further? Get ready for a roller coaster of emotions in today's explosive episode.
Mr. Dark, you say the defendant is a promiscuous liar who broke your heart 4 years ago, stepping out on your then relationship. You admit to having a one-night stand with her 2 years ago. Mr. Dark, why would you call Ms. Bailey a promiscuous liar?
Your Honor, I've been knowing Miss Bailey for probably about 7 or 8 years.
The plot thickens dramatically as Mr. Dark recounts a relationship riddled with promises that completely turned into betrayals. His world is turned upside down by a bombshell dropped by Ms. Bailey's best friend. I was left completely shocked by this, you guys. You won't believe what he reveals.
We was in a relationship for about 4 years.
Okay.
Everything was okay. Everything was pretty good when I first met her. We had some good conversations about establishing us a family and probably having kids, things like that. We lived together at that time. I left to go out of town to do some work. I was working out of town, out of state, as a matter of fact. I went to Florida to do some work in Florida. While I was going to Florida to do some work,
Mr. Dark really doesn't know what to do now. Can you blame the poor guy? On the other hand, Ms. Bailey still says Mr. Dark is the sole father figure in her son's life. I need the truth and confidence of this woman after all that has been revealed.
You came back together because Jameer is 11 months old, so that something else had to happen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
We never stopped. We never stopped dealing with each other along the way. Even though we separated, we still occasionally seen each other every, like 2, 3, maybe every 2 months, 3 months or so.
What's dealt with each other mean?
We still seen each other occasionally. And she had early.
I'm sorry?
And she had
I
early.
had him early, like I was due November 30th.
Oh, what, a 30th? Okay.
Yeah.
Things are becoming heated now. He says he was used as a crutch because even when he had his doubts, he was there for the baby every single step of the way. I kind of feel bad for him. And after all of that, Mr. Dark found out he really wasn't the father. The court is left holding its breath for what is to come.
You feel like you were a crutch?
Yes, ma'am, because from the beginning, I was there at the hospital when Jameer was born, even with my doubts, because in the back of my mind, I didn't never want to feel like, okay, he really was my son and I didn't do the things that I was supposed to do as a father. I was there when he was born. The onesies and stuff that he took home,
Okay, so
I
why
bought
did
for
you
them.
sign the birth
The Pampers that he had,
Miss Bailey, what are you feeling in this moment?
Now they really start arguing about who has done more for the baby. The back and forth is super tense, and I'm just enjoying the drama. Who's masking the truth? Who's revealing it? Brace for impact as the judge sets the stage for a revelation that promises to completely change the future of this poor young kid.
So Jameer is 11 months old. What has been your relationship
That's
with
why you don't
the
have
child?
your first child, because you don't do for her.
I was in Jameer's life. I've been a part of his life. I've gotten him. I've taken him with me. I've kept him. I took him to Alabama with me when I went to my granny's funeral last month.
Mr. Dark, you are the father.
Oh, wow, I did not see this coming. It made me a bit emotional, too. And oh my God, what happens afterwards will make this even tougher to watch. Get ready, folks.
I told you that he was yours.
Your word ain't, man.
Okay.
So listen, when I first told you you were the father, Mr. Dark, I saw genuine emotion on your face because I felt like in that moment you understood that for almost a year, this baby has been denied and questioned, and he doesn't deserve that.
The drama hits the fan when Mr. Threlkeld rolls back from overseas only to come home to the worst surprise ever. Was he serving his country while his wife was serving lies? With a shaky marriage and the paternity of little Liliana on the line, we're strapping in for another whirlwind episode of shocking drama.
Mr. Threlkeld, you have entered this courtroom with a marriage on the brink of divorce. You state that while you were out of the country serving in the military, your wife paraded around town with other men, and she has admitted to cheating multiple times. You claim you are not sure if you are the father of her third child, 18-month-old Liliana.
Okay, so Mr. Threlkeld, a soldier betrayed, really lays it all out, telling the courtroom how he discovered his wife's been cheating on him after a friend of his spilled the beans on the wife's activities back home. Imagine fighting abroad and finding out your home base is under siege by scandal. And Mrs. Threlkeld, she's lying to everyone's face about needing to strip because the bills are piling up. But Mr. Threlkeld isn't buying what she's selling. Not one bit. Now, don't forget, he knows what his friend has told him.
Earlier on in the day, me and him got into some words, so I thought we were gonna, settle it. Well, it turns out his wife and my wife were friends, and she had found out that she was actually stripping as we spoke. And at the time, I found out about it. I thought, it was all just a hoax. So I went, calmly to the internet lounge, got on Facebook and asked her, hey, is it true you're doing what I told you I didn't want you doing at all?
The plot thickens as Mr. Threlkeld uncovers flirtatious messages lighting up his wife's Facebook like a Christmas tree. Oh my God, he really pulled up with all the receipts. It's not just the exotic dancing. Oh God, no. There's a mystery man in the mix, liking those not-so-innocent pictures. And when Mr. Threlkeld confronts her, it's denials and excuses served up faster than a fast food meal. The excuses she makes are mind-blowing.
He hacked my Facebook. He invaded my privacy, and he looked into my stuff, into my messages.
So
that's how he found out.
What did he find?
There were messages, yes, but...
Actually, ma'am, see, that's already a lie. I got on there, and on the inbox, I see, oh, baby, I can't wait to see you later on tonight. I had a great time with you. you. I can't wait to see, the last few days we've spent together. It's been amazing.
Courtroom tension is higher than ever. The judge is piecing together this jigsaw puzzle of jealousy and deception, while Mr. and Mrs. Threlkeld are arguing back and forth. It's a he said, she said showdown that has everyone on the edge of their seats. Will the truth actually help their relationship at this point, or is it all over? I honestly know what everyone would do at this point.
Overseas, I was making $4,000 to $5,000 tax-free a month. Living in a $400
It wasn't even that much.
Room.
Okay, Your Honor, there are expenses when you have kids. The money that was coming in, let's just be real, it wasn't enough to support the kids, and on top of that...
Wasn't enough to support the kids how? Because I'm going to keep it real, $5,000 a month.
I had to
tax-free.
It mainly...
Just when you think it couldn't get any more twisted, the focus shifts to Liliana. Is Mr. Threlkeld the father, or has Mrs. Threlkeld's side hustle introduced another player to the game? The suspense is killer as everyone waits for the DNA verdict. Plus, the judge asks a good question. Could you now find any other job other than stripping? And I agree with her. I am literally on the edge of my seat. This one's definitely an insane twist.
Stripping, I mean, because you could have just said, I want to go get an extra job at the mall.
Okay.
I want to be...
Ma'am, since we've been together, since 2008, she hasn't started working until actually about 3 weeks ago. It was her actually first-time job. Hooking or stripping?
It's not hooking.
You're selling your body for money. Hooker.
No, it's not.
Anyways.
Excuse me.
Wow.
Anyways. To make matters worse, ma'am, when the day I was supposed to come back home from overseas.
Buckle up, folks, because the truth train is about to shock you. With the paternity test results in hand, the judge is about to drop a bomb of a truth that could either mend a broken family or blast it further apart. I mean, I don't think this relationship is going to get fixed anytime soon. Not with the way they're shouting at each other. It's high stakes, high drama, and high time for some answers. Don't blink. You won't want to miss the climax of this train wreck.
He may or may not be her father. Do you think, honestly, that he is the father of Liliana?
It could be 50-50 chance, honestly.
Anybody got a quarter?
Do you understand that for a man, for any person, that would be really hard to accept? Mr. Threlkeld, you are Liliana's father.
There you have it. Another day, another paternity puzzle pieced together in the court of last resorts. What will the future hold for the Threlkeld family? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. When it comes to baby daddy drama, the truth is often stranger than fiction.
Since the day it's happened, since February 2011 to be exact when I found out, there has not been a day that's gone by that I haven't let her not relive the mistakes she made, period.
I appreciate your honesty. You were owning up to the fact that you would not let the mistake go. You threw it up in her face over and over and over.
This case between Ms. Rice and Mr. DeBaca is a total train wreck. These two are about as dysfunctional as a couple can get, and the judge has her work cut out for her trying to sort through all their crazy drama.
Ms. Rice, you are appearing in court to prove the defendant, Mr. DeBaca, is the father of your unborn baby.
Correct.
You claim he has denied paternity, who has posted several online ads looking for girlfriends while you were pregnant.
Yes.
In addition to the paternity suit, you were also asking the court to award you $750 for plane tickets and a loan to Mr. DeBaca.
From the start, it was clear that this couple had a super messy relationship. Ms. Rice said they started out as friends with benefits. She responded to his online ad looking for friends, went over to his place, and they ended up hooking up, even though she told him she doesn't sleep with guys on the first night. Uh-huh, sure. That's how all healthy friendships start, right?
He kept asking me and asking me and asking me, and I told him, no, I do not sleep with guys on the first night, and I said that way more than once.
She gave into it.
I finally gave in.
She's not an adult. She just happened to just give into my saying.
So you ended up having sex.
Yes.
And then where does the relationship go from there?
I invited him over to my house to come hang out with me, and he just moved in.
Oh,
he just moved in. I got him a job, and he just moved in.
She didn't give me a job,
I got him a job with a mutual friend.
But then things got even weirder. Ms. Rice said Mr. DeBaca just ended up moving into her house, and she even got him a job. Mr. DeBaca, on the other hand, claimed they weren't in a real relationship, just friends with benefits who happened to be living together. Wow, talk about some major miscommunication. These two couldn't even agree on what kind of relationship they had.
And yet you're living under the same roof with her.
I live with my mom. Me and my mom don't have sex. I'm just saying, like, just because you live with somebody, it's not a relationship. That don't even make any sense.
But you're living under the same roof with her. The people she works for get you a job. In your mind, you have absolutely absolutely no tie or responsibility to her. You're just having random sex and you've got a roof over your head.
Unprotected sex.
And the drama didn't stop there. Mr. DeBaca said he doubts the baby is his because he saw a picture on Ms. Rice's phone of another guy, and one of his friends claimed he slept with Ms. Rice or her sister. Ms. Rice also accused Mr. DeBaca of constantly posting online ads looking for other girlfriends, even while they were living together. What a mess.
Sudden, she wants to call me a couple weeks later and tell me she's pregnant.
That's not
true. And it's happened twice.
No.
Every time that it happens, she's trying to trap me into it, so
I'm not trying to trap you. Maybe if you'd own up to what you're doing.
The baby's not mine because of what she was emailing other dudes, and the reason I left because she was texting guys telling them to come over, and her friend, her roommate, went off to this army base. They're the only two girls there.
It was clear these two had a crazy on-again, off-again thing going on. Ms. Rice said that every time they broke up, she'd call Mr. DeBaca a few weeks later and say she's pregnant. And Mr. DeBaca was convinced Ms. Rice was just trying to trap him with a baby. Talk about a toxic situation.
So I'm just saying,
that's how I
knew.
Justify.
That's how I knew. No, I'm just saying.
That he has it down crystal clear because.
Okay, so you saw, that's one doubt. You saw the picture.
Yeah, that.
And what else?
So we had a little party at our house one time, and I was passing out in the living room, and one of my friends from work said that he was gonna go take her to the room. They never came out. I woke up.
On top of all the paternity drama, Ms. Rice was also suing Mr. DeBaca for $750. $100 for plane tickets she bought him that he never used, plus $50 for changing the flight, and $500 in loans she said she gave him. Mr. DeBaca denied ever asking her for money or promising to come see her. The judge seemed pretty skeptical of both their stories, but in the end, she only awarded Ms. Rice the $250 for the plane tickets, saying the rest was probably just Ms. Rice trying to get Mr. DeBaca's attention.
He decided that he wanted to post on the internet for dating, again, using my cell phone, sneaking out of our bed, going and taking pictures of himself in the bathroom to post for other girls to see, looking for girls to hang out with him, but telling me that they were just girlfriends.
That doesn't even make any sense.
If I can't be friends with guys, why can he be friends with girls?
And then came the moment of truth, the DNA results. These two live wires have no business being in the same room, let alone having kids together, but there was no going back, and getting the DNA test results was the only way forward.
Mr. DeBaca, it has been determined that you are the father.
What did I tell you? What do you have to say?
Nothing to say now.
I'll take responsibility and take care of my child. I just wanted to be sure.
Exactly what I want you to do.
Can I apologize to her?
You absolutely can.
I'm sorry, Destiny.
This next case is about a woman who just can't seem to keep her hands off the neighborhood ice cream man. Hope you have a sweet tooth because this is about to get sugary. Miss White is convinced that the neighborhood ice cream man, Mr. Flowers, is the father of her 4-month-old son, Major. Ooh, this is gonna be good.
Ms. White, you say you have no doubt when it comes to who your 4-month-old child Major's biological father is, even though you were intimate with the neighborhood ice cream man during the window of conception. You are seeking a DNA test as well as $1,846.54 in child care expenses, correct?
Correct.
But Mr. Flowers ain't buying it. He's got some serious doubts about whether he's the daddy, and he's not too happy about Miss White trying to pin this kid on him.
He couldn't fit him, and he probably would have took about 3 months for him to be able to fit the clothes.
Well, you know we buy the baby stuff a little bit big so they have room to grow.
Right.
Not 4 or 5 months too big.
Oh, well,
the summer was around the corner.
Listen, did you take the clothes back because they couldn't fit him, or did you take the clothes back because you didn't?
Because he wanted cigarettes. He didn't have no money and beer.
You took the baby's clothes back for cigarettes?
Pretty much.
No.
Things really start to heat up when Miss White drops the bombshell that she was also getting it on with another guy, Mr. Miles, during the window of conception. Uh-oh, looks like we've got a love triangle on our hands.
Me and Mr. Flowers, that's all we did was have sex. You know, that was our relationship, was based on sex. Unprotected sex at that, so.
And you were having sex with Mr. Flowers during the window of conception.
Yes.
And you weren't using protection.
No, ma'am.
Mr. Flowers, you say you have doubt.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Flowers is not impressed, and he's even got the text messages to prove it. Apparently, Miss White was trying to get Mr. Flowers to step up and be a dad, while also hitting up Mr. Miles for some extra cash. Yikes. This girl's playing the field.
He had other females that he was with, so of course this wasn't going to bother him.
Did you ever tell him you were pregnant?
Yes, ma'am. I actually inboxed him the pregnancy test.
And your response was?
Nothing.
I don't
He
know.
never responded.
No.
And so all the way through your pregnancy, Mr. Flowers wasn't there? No doctor's appointment?
No doctor's appointment.
When Major
nothing.
was born?
He came around like in February. I let him come back because I wanted him to see his son.
But Mr. Miles ain't buying it either. He's got 8 kids of his own, and he can tell just by looking at Major that the little guy ain't his. Mr. Miles' fiance, Miss Whitfield, isn't too happy about this whole situation, and she's letting everyone know it.
She filed asleep, text message come through, and man, I don't even know where to begin that, Judge. It get real explicit
and that's only
and
because
everything.
he wasn't around. He wasn't around.
I never said nothing to her neither, because I ain't the argumentative, fighting type of guy. I find out what it is, keep my grass cut now.
At this point, the judge is just shaking her head, trying to make sense of all the tangled web of relationships. She decides it's time to get to the bottom of this, and orders a DNA test to determine once and for all who the baby daddy is.
So, Mr. Flowers, was she asking you for diapers or anything for the baby as well?
And the whole pregnancy, this is what I was going through, Your Honor. And
What is that, sir?
The whole
that to me,
text
please.
messages from her phone.
The whole time he texted me asking for sex.
It's like this.
Wasn't about the baby.
You've handed me evidence. These are text messages
Yes, ma'am.
from Ms. White to you.
Yes, ma'am.
While we wait for the results, the judge lays down the law, telling Mr. Flowers that if he is the father, he's got to step up and take care of his kid. No more excuses, buddy. Miss Whitfield has got a lot to think about, too. Will she still go through with the wedding if Mr. Miles turns out to be the father? She'll have to make up her mind quickly, because the DNA test results are in, and the truth is about to be revealed.
In the case of White versus Flowers, when it comes to 4-month-old Major White, it has been determined by this court. His father is Mr. Flowers.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, you're
I
right.
knew
Thank
that.
you, Jesus.
I already knew that.
Ms. Whitfield and Mr. Miles, I know you are relieved.
Big relief.
Mr. House is a bishop who's accused of fathering a child with a woman 28 years his junior, Ms. Webster. Now, Ms. Webster admits she was involved with 3 different men around the time of conception, including Mr. House and another guy, Mr. Miles Jones, who's 9 years older than her. Oof, talk about a messy situation.
Mr. House, you're a church pastor and bishop who may have fathered a child with a woman who's 28 years younger than you.
Yes, sir.
Now, Ms. Webster, you admit you were involved with 3 different men during the time you conceived your daughter, including Mr. House.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, the second possible father you've identified, Mr. Miles Jones, is 9 years older than you.
Mr. House tries to play it cool, saying he and Ms. Webster just had a casual hookup, no strings attached. But Ms. Webster paints a different picture, claiming they met at a church event and things quickly turned physical. Looks like sermons weren't the only thing the bishop was giving.
We exchanged numbers, and after exchanging numbers, I decided that I wanted to follow up on this. So we set a date for the following week, and we went out, and we just had a great time together.
Did you think it was a committed relationship?
No.
You didn't?
No. As time began to go along, I began to think that, maybe in the right atmosphere, we could probably, make a relationship and go a little bit further as time went along.
When the judge calls out Mr. House's choice of words to describe Ms. Webster, the bishop tries to justify it by referencing the Bible. Nice try, buddy, but this ain't your pulpit. You're in paternity court now.
We in paternity court, and I'm the judge, and in this courtroom, we're gonna respect women. Now, you can tell the story without calling her names. So you're saying you met her at a fast food place. She's saying you all were at church, but regardless, you decided to be in a sexual relationship. Was it more than a sexual relationship?
No,
or
it was just a hookup.
Just a hookup.
It was a booty call.
And you agreed with that.
Meanwhile, Mr. Miles Jones enters the scene, and it turns out he and Ms. Webster had an on and off relationship for 5 years before she met Mr. House. Wow, talk about a tangled web. Mr. Miles Jones claims he was there for Ms. Webster during her pregnancy, even helping with things like food and massages. Sounds like he's ready to step up and be a dad, but is the baby actually his?
But there's some differences, Your Honor, when I think that she was with me and when she's with him. I think she's with me for money.
Well, how do you think that when you never even gave me a penny?
Because things could be, the things that I could do.
But did you do it?
I did. She'll tell you that her phone was off. Your phone went on. My bankroll's on swole, and I kept hers on swole as well, too.
Never. My phone bill was off of 2 months.
I'm sure glad your bankroll is on swole for baby Amelia, just in case.
Things get even more complicated when Ms. Webster reveals that she never even told Mr. House she was pregnant, and he only found out 30 days ago when his superiors called him about it. Yikes, talk about a bombshell.
When I found out I was pregnant, I was trying to contact Mr. House. His phone was disconnected. First, I never knew he left town. And then I didn't even get in contact to tell him until after I had my baby, which he denied her to the fullest. He denied her. He wanted a DNA test. He didn't want nothing to do with my baby.
That's not true.
And for his money to be on full when I asked him for diapers and everything, where was that? Because they was nowhere near around.
I had to buy them diapers. I'm the one that turned
Girl,
the
let me
phone
say
on.
this.
The judge tries to get to the bottom of the timeline, and it's clear Ms. Webster has been, shall we say, quite busy with her romantic life. She admits to sleeping with multiple men, and Mr. Miles Jones even accuses her of tricking them.
Just 30 days ago, I have never spoken to her, but last time
I told him that I just had his baby,
in August
and he
of
denied it.
2013. That was the last time we spoke together.
He never.
All right. Let me just say this, Jana. We're here because I made the phone call to come. When I found out immediately,
exactly, so I didn't
when the auntie called me and told me, immediately I called.
So hold on, Mr. Miles Jones, I want to figure out what was happening with you at this time.
But Mr. Miles Jones seems determined to be there for the baby, even if he's not the father. He tells the court he's been supporting Ms. Webster and the baby since day one, and he even wanted to put his name on the birth certificate. Maybe there's hope for this little family after all.
You said she told you you were the father.
Yes, when I asked her, after she told me she was pregnant, I said, well, do you think I'm the father? She was like, well, you are the father. That's why I'm telling you. Because
that's a lie. When I told him it was a possibility, and when I had her, he was there. He even wanted me to give her last name, and he even wanted to sign the birth certificate.
And then, the moment of truth. The DNA results are in. Is the foul-mouthed Bishop Little Amelia's dad, or is the man who stepped up finally going to be vindicated? We're about to find out.
Mr. Miles Jones, you are not her father.
In my eyes, that's still my daughter.
So you plan to still be here for beautiful Amelia. Mr. House, it has been determined by this court that you are not her father.
We've got a young couple, Tanner and Caitlyn, who clearly jumped into adulthood way too fast. At just 14 and 15 years old, they were already having unprotected sex and talking about having a baby. Talk about a recipe for disaster. And the drama doesn't stop there.
Mr. Gray, you are suing your wife and the mother of your daughter for a paternity test. You and your parents claim Mrs. Gray lied to you about her sexual past, and since discovering the truth about her, you now all fear the baby is not your biological daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mrs. Gray, you argue that your husband is destroying your marriage because he no longer trusts you.
Tanner's mom, Jacqueline, really laid it on thick, didn't she? She caught wind that Caitlyn had been talking to other guys behind Tanner's back, and she's not holding back. Apparently, Caitlyn had admitted to sleeping with 6 other guys before getting together with Tanner. Yikes.
Okay, let me get my mouth off the ground.
Okay.
They went to his bedroom
Yes,
and
ma'am.
had sex.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, continue.
Okay, within about 3 weeks, they called me into the bedroom. She explained to me that she was late on her period. I looked around for a few things to throw, and instead I went to the store and I got a pregnancy test, and I come back, tossed it at her, asked her if she knew how to use it, considering she was only 14 years old. And she said yes. She went to the bathroom, brought it back to me, and it was positive.
Jacqueline is convinced Caitlyn is just a gold digger who targeted her son because of their nice, big house. And she's got Tanner totally convinced that the baby might not even be his. Talk about a toxic situation. These two families are at each other's throats.
She stayed for a couple days and...
Oh, the second date lasts a couple days?
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, 15 and 14 years old? 2-day dates? Never heard of such. Okay.
Yes, and they were supposed to be sleeping by the Christmas tree. Well, that didn't go over so well.
Okay.
So, and considering the fact of her family's background.
But the real kicker is when Caitlyn's grandmother, Ms. Woolhart, chimes in via Skype. She's furious that Jacqueline has been so unsupportive, especially when she's the one who's been taking care of Caitlyn and the baby for the past 3 years.
When you met Mrs. Gray, you obviously were interested in her. You took her on a date.
Yes, ma'am.
You had a 2-day second date. When you found out that she was pregnant, did you feel like this could possibly be my child?
No, I didn't, because when she was 14 years old and I was 15, we decided to have sex, and I figured if she was gonna have sex with me on her second date at my house at such a young age.
And let's not forget about Tanner and Caitlyn's own questionable choices. I mean, sneaking off to the bedroom at 14 and 15 years old? That's just asking for trouble. These two kids clearly had no business being intimate at that age, let alone talking about having a baby.
that you wanted to have a baby?
Yes, Your Honor, but he also agreed to because obviously I turned up pregnant. So if he didn't agree to it, then, I mean...
So you all are 14 and 15 years old, 2 babies, making a decision that y'all gonna have a baby.
Yeah.
Why is it that you, not only are you engaging in adult activity, but you're talking about becoming parents? Why? Because you all feel like you hit it off so much?
But through all the drama and finger-pointing, you can tell that Caitlyn and Tanner really do care about each other and their little girl, Keely. Caitlyn is practically in tears, begging for the family to come together and support them, regardless of the paternity results.
About doubt, you know, I had gotten broken into her email accounts, and 4 weeks prior to our first date, actually, she had sexual conversations with numerous guys, and I had proof of that. I had sat her down and I told her all about that. First, she denied. I got into the email again to show her what I had found, and the information was not there. I had a family member that was actually a computer engineer, and he helped me get all those emails back. She started crying and bawling.
The DNA test results are finally in, and it's time for these 2 kids to grow up and take some responsibility for their little girl. Will these 2 feuding families put their beef aside and focus on what's important, or will the bickering go on until it's too late? Let's find out.
Mr. Gray, you are her father. Now that's what I want to see. That of what the blessing of a beautiful, innocent child can do for a family. But I want to caution you both. You all started down the path to adulthood way too early. Let's be very honest.
All right, so we've got Miss Graves Carroll, who's suing her husband, Mr. Baker, for a paternity test on their 19-year-old daughter, Vanisha. Ms. Graves claims their marriage is on the rocks, and she's hoping this test will help fix things. But surprise, surprise, Mr. Baker thinks Vanisha might not even be his kid.
Your marriage is on the rocks and on the brink of divorce.
Yes, ma'am.
You're suing your husband, Mr. Baker, for a paternity test to prove that he's your 19-year-old daughter, Vanisha's biological father. You claim you're hoping this DNA test will fix your family. Mr. Baker, you claim you're not the father because your wife admitted that not one...
Turns out, 22 years ago, Ms. Graves had another daughter, and Mr. Baker thought he was the dad for a whole year. But then a DNA test proved he wasn't the father. Ouch. No wonder the guy's got some trust issues. Graves says she was always honest about the possibility of other dads, but Mr. Baker's not having it.
You're saying 22 years ago you had a daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
And for a year he thought it was his biological daughter.
Yes.
But you were honest that it may or may not be. Ultimately, you had a DNA test and it was determined that in fact he was not the biological father of your older daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is the reason why you believe he has doubt concerning your daughter, Vanisha.
Correct.
Now, Ms. Graves is saying Mr. Baker's been treating Vanisha with this tough love thing, but it's really just him cussing her out and being downright rude. Yikes! The judge is trying to get to the bottom of this, but these 2 are just going back and forth, blaming each other left and right.
Mr. Baker, why are you cursing a 19-year-old girl? What is this behavior?
I mean, verbal words come out due to the fact that, you know, hey, she felt like I hurt her. So,
well, he does me the same way.
So what I'm trying to understand is, Ms. Graves, you believe this treatment, the way that he interacts with your daughter is based upon his doubt.
Yes. Our marriage is having problems. Just like he stated before, he doesn't know how to love.
Turns out, Ms. Graves and Mr. Baker haven't even been married that long. Only 4 years. But they've been dealing with each other for 22 years. On and off. Yup, it's a roller coaster relationship. Ms. Graves claims she told Mr. Baker Vanisha might be his when she was 5 years old, but he denied it and cussed her out in front of his family.
You have always told him he's Vanisha's father.
Well, when she was 5,
I mean, I went to
him to his mother's house, and I said, Michael, I seen some resemblance. So I went to him and I said, Michael, Mr. Baker, I think we need to do a paternity test.
But do looks always count?
He cursed me out and belittled me in front of many of people.
Oh my.
Now Ms. Graves is bringing out this conception calendar she's got, trying to prove that Vanisha was conceived during a Halloween party where she and Mr. Baker were intimate. But wait, there's more. Ms. Graves admits she was with 2 other guys around that same time frame. Uh-oh, looks like we've got some competition for the title of Vanisha's dad. dad.
I'm not gonna say I didn't.
He
I did
remember.
it, but I'm not gonna say I remember it, Your Honor. Because for the simple fact is, if we've already been this way, why wouldn't you come to me and say, let's have a paternity test if it was like that? You understand? Instead of just saying,
you asked to have a paternity
no,
test?
I don't remember that. I don't.
As it relates to Vanisha?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
19 years old, and a lot has happened since she was 5.
Yes.
Vanisha herself takes the stand, and she's just as confused as we are. She's got this love-hate relationship with Mr. Baker, and she's not sure who her real dad is. The judge is trying to get to the bottom of it, but these two are just not making it easy.
Now she's dealing with a very serious medical situation.
Yes, Your Honor.
Surely you understand.
I do. I mean, I really
that
do.
Arguing and getting her upset doesn't do anything for her health, for her care. You understand that,
Yes,
right?
I do.
And so this situation is very important, not just to her, but Vanisha.
But at the same time, when you have doubts, because there are other people involved, 1, 2.
All right, the moment of truth has arrived. The DNA results are in. The judge is about to reveal Vanisha's paternity, and with Mr. Baker and Ms. Graves at each other's throats, it couldn't come at a better time. Judge Lake, take it away.
Mr. Baker, you are not her father.
You're my daughter no matter what. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. I just want to... I'm sorry.
I would say a few words that I hope would help a family that's in your position and any family that comes into this courtroom. Help them move forward, because that's what this is about.
Tangled in the whirlwind romance of being with an older man, Ms. Moyette found herself not just caring for her little baby girl, but also nursing a heart shattered into a million pieces. Will she ever overcome this heartbreak? Let's dive right in and find out.
Ms. Moyette, you're here in court today to prove that Mr. Lester, a man who is 20 years older than you, is the father of your 3-month-old daughter, Nyla Moyette. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim Mr. Lester has done nothing for your daughter, therefore you're suing for half of child-rearing expenses.
Yes, Your Honor.
Things were never all rosy between Mr. Lester and Ms. Moyette. When she discovered she was expecting, she shared the news with Mr. Lester. But was he thrilled about the baby? Heck no! It was like the baby was going to ruin all the fun he was having. The revelation added tension to their already strained interactions, with Mr. Lester appearing completely blindsided and decidedly unexcited about the new responsibilities.
Well, Your Honor, Mr. Lester has hardly been involved in Nyla's life. Besides the fact of 3 cases of diapers, a onesie that he bought for her, which was a boy outfit. Other than that, me and my mother have been providing for her food, milk, and everything and things like that. I also have evidence here showing you.
Mr. Lester wasn't about to let her spill the beans, so he jumped right in and called her a big fat liar, claiming that everything she said was just in her head and they hadn't been intimate in ages. Well, wasn't that predictable? He denied it all. But brace yourselves. The revelations from Ms. Moyette will leave you reeling in shock. Amid the escalating courtroom drama, Ms. Moyette remained firm, her voice echoing with emotion as she recounted the intimate moments that led to her pregnancy. Moments Mr. Lester seemed eager to dismiss or forget.
Yana, that's a lie. And now, it's not, Yana, we've had sex since I've had my daughter 5 times. I've counted.
That's not true.
Well, she's only 3 months old.
Exactly.
Mr. Lester, you're saying that this is all in her mind?
Yes, Your Honor. It is definitely in her mind.
We've had sex, and I don't know why you're lying.
Mr. Lester wasn't exactly playing nice in the courtroom. He kept hammering on the fact that he didn't want a commitment with Ms. Moyette. According to him, he was just out for a good time. But Ms. Moyette seemed dead set on having his baby. Now, who's telling the truth here? I'm utterly perplexed at this point. His adamance painted a picture of a man who felt trapped, which seemed totally different against Ms. Moyette's portrayal of a forsaken lover seeking acknowledgement and support for their child. What is even happening?
Your Honor, I have no reason to lie. I planned my baby's pregnancy. I planned this. I wanted to be with him. I still want to be with him.
What she's saying is you were having unprotected sex with her then, and even since this child's birth, you're still having unprotected sex with her, which means that you are a possible father if in fact that sex occurred during the window of conception.
It was an all-out war zone in that courtroom. The things that were flying out of both Mr. Lester and Ms. Moyette's mouths were downright unbelievable. Even Judge Lauren seemed utterly baffled as she struggled to make sense of their conflicting accounts. The air was ripe with the tension, accusations, denial, and a desperate quest for validation.
Oh wait, so you said I want to have a baby, and he said I don't want to have a baby, and then you went on ahead and had a baby.
Correct.
Well, she told the truth.
Yes, she did.
Mr. Lester,
Yes, Your Honor.
you weren't interested in having a child.
No, I wasn't, Your Honor. I only was interested in the friendship. She became more obsessed. Every time she expressed...
Mr. Lester, who never wanted to start a family with Ms. Moyette, dropped a bombshell, stating that he had doubts about the baby's paternity. Was he living in denial? I mean, he was essentially sleeping with Ms. Moyette without any protection. Trust me, folks, these two are bonkers! The courtroom gasped, the weight of his denial hanging heavy in the air as Ms. Moyette's face crumpled under the strain of his accusations.
I did want a sexual relationship without being in a committed relationship. I did want that, and she agreed to it.
I agreed to it in the beginning, and when he told me that he loved me, it opened me up to the fact that, well, maybe it could be. I mean, my background...
But now, folks, it's time to lift the veil of deception and reveal the truth after a barrage of lies and deceit. The day of reckoning has finally arrived, with everyone eagerly awaiting the moment of truth. Are you ready to uncover the truth? I bet you are. So let's buckle up, because here it comes. As the judge prepares to read the results, the room holds its breath, every eye fixed on the unfolding drama that could either mend or forever fracture the lives entwined in this emotional saga.
Mr. Lester,
yes,
you are Nyla's father.
Yes! Yes!
Ma'am.
Ma'am. Didn't I tell you?
Ma'am.
Didn't I tell you?
You need to be respectful.
Didn't I tell you?
Ma'am, I understand you're upset.
I know it.
I know, and it's over now. It's over.
Take a deep breath, Ms. Moyette.
Buckle up, folks, for a story that dives headfirst into the deep end of relationship dramas. Ms. Van Metre, rocked by a medical scare, is desperate to prove Mr. Watkins is the biological father of her 3-year-old son, Decidre, to secure his name on the birth certificate and perhaps mend their fractured lives. But Mr. Watkins, haunted by doubts, warns that if the DNA results exclude him as the father, he's out the door for good.
Ms. Van Metre, after a recent medical scare, you realized it is imperative that you prove to the defendant that he is the biological father of your 3-year-old son, Decidre, so you can put his name on the birth certificate. You are hopeful today's results will help save your family. Mr. Watkins, you say...
In a candid reveal, Ms. Van Metre admits they're living together not out of love, but necessity. The twist? She cheated, which shattered their romance, but not the bond Mr. Watkins formed with little Decidre. Mr. Watkins stands as a father figure, not only to Decidre, but also to Ms. Van Metre's other child, painting a picture of a man who's more than just a temporary placeholder in their lives. Despite their broken relationship, Ms. Van Metre emphasizes that Mr. Watkins stayed throughout everything. The birth, the upbringing, essentially playing dad from day one, underlining his unwavering dedication despite the turmoil.
We are not in a relationship, we just live together at the moment.
Okay.
We broke up because of the simple fact that I cheated, and he has just stayed and he's been there throughout everything, throughout the whole birth, throughout my son being 3 now. He's just played his dad the whole time.
The plot thickens as Mr. Watkins recounts the fateful night when he discovered Ms. Van Metre's infidelity, right in front of their home, no less. Caught red-handed, Ms. Van Metre's tangled web of texts and deceit unraveled in the harsh light of day. The confrontation leaves us questioning, what drives a person to jeopardize everything for a fleeting moment of passion? As Ms. Van Metre attempts to justify her actions, Mr. Watkins's resolve is tested, showcasing his strength and depth of character and refusing to abandon his familial duties, driven by his own past of growing up without a father.
So I'm gonna just go ahead and do what I have to do as a man and still be there.
And I can see as you talk about that, you feel emotional. You've been very good to this child.
Yeah.
Despite your doubt, because it means something to you.
Right. Also, I play father to her other child that doesn't have a father in her life, so I'm taking care of the whole crew.
And I understand that and I respect that, but...
As they navigate the sea of accusations and remorse, Mr. Watkins' steadfast commitment to the children emerges as a symbol of hope and pure goodness. Despite the chaos, his dedication to providing a stable home is both heartwarming and heartbreaking. But let's not kid ourselves. The road to resolution is not easy, and it's just an emotional landmine.
I never had sex with this guy before, but I did kiss him.
Well, I guess they were making up for lost times.
But my point is, Ms. Van Metre, you do have this sexual encounter, and then you find out you're pregnant.
Yes, Your Honor.
How long after that?
Maybe a week or 2 after the fact. I don't remember the exact date.
Now, the courtroom is electric with tension as the moment of truth approaches. Will Will the DNA test cement Mr. Watkins' role in Decidre's life, or will it blow their fragile world apart? The stakes couldn't be higher as we teeter on the brink of revelation. Are you clutching your seats yet? I bet you are. So take a deep breath, because the verdict is about to redefine a family's destiny. The truth, as they say, will set you free. Or will it? Let's find out together.
Mr. Lester, I want to ask you, what are your doubts exactly?
I have at least 5 doubts, and I would like to show.
I see you brought an exhibit.
Yes. And yes.
Go ahead on over to you.
Thank you.
And represent yourself.
My first doubt is, when I first met Miss Moyette, she told me her name was Mia.
In this whirlwind of passion, betrayal, and paternal duty, we're reminded that the heart of the matter often lies in the hands of the unsuspecting. As the saga unfolds, it's clear that amidst the chaos, the true innocents are the children thrust into the adult world of mistakes and misjudgments.
Mr. Watkins, you are the father.
All right. Ooh. That's my boy right there. No wonder he's so damn bad.
That's funny. I've never heard that. But Mr. Watkins, I'm so glad Decidre will have his daddy in his life.
Hold on tight as we dive into a paternity puzzle that's more twisted than a daytime soap opera. Ms. Brutin finds herself caught between Mr. Martin, who desperately wants to be a dad, and her ex, Mr. Richardson, whom she insists is her child's true father. This episode is teeming with claims, counterclaims, and a battle for parental rights that'll leave your head spinning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
This is the case of Brutin versus Martin.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Brutin, you claim to be 100% positive that Mr. Martin is not your son's biological father because your ex-boyfriend, Mr. Richardson, is.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Brutin is adamant. Her heart belongs to Mr. Richardson, but Mr. Martin isn't bowing out without a fight. He's confident he's the father, claiming multiple encounters during the conception window. But here's where it gets juicy. Ms. Brutin only acknowledges 2. Who's telling the truth? And more importantly, who's the biological daddy?
First of all, Logan looks just like Anthony. They have the same ears, eyes, nose. And he don't favor Mr. Martin at all. So that's why I'm sure.
Just by looks alone?
Yeah, by looks alone.
But Mr. Martin, you disagree?
Yes, because I know I had unprotected sex around the time that she conceived. She might say I didn't have it as many times she said I did, but I know it's a fact.
Just when you think it couldn't get messier, Ms. Brutin drops a bombshell. She's playing a risky game, trying to secure her romantic future with Mr. Richardson by sidelining Mr. Martin, who she used as a go-to guy. But Mr. Martin isn't just any fallback plan. He's a man on a mission to claim his potential offspring.
Disappear, ain't answer my phone calls, ain't do nothing. Then,
so you're saying she called you to tell you I'm pregnant and you're the father at first?
Yes, at first.
Did you call him and say I'm pregnant and you're the father?
First of all, I called both of them because I wasn't for sure who was the father because I slept with both of them around the same time.
Okay, so you do admit his testimony is true.
Yeah.
With paternity doubts clouding the air, the court becomes a battleground for truth and deception. Ms. Brutin's maneuvers to manipulate the narrative could put a novella to shame. It's clear she's controlling her little show. But at what cost? The emotional stakes are high, and the well-being of little Logan hangs precariously in the balance.
All right, so when you went to the doctor and confirmed you were pregnant, did your doctor give you a window of conception? Did they give you a date?
Yes, April the 8th.
April the 8th,
Mm-hmm.
All right. When you were intimate with Mr. Richardson, that's who you claimed was the father, right?
Yes, that's
Do you
who I know
remember
was
when
the
you
father.
were intimate with him?
Yes, Your Honor, April the 7th.
Okay, so very close to.
Yes, very close.
What? So that's Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
As the moment of truth nears, the tension is palpable. Are we looking at a father determined by love or by biology? This paternity test isn't just a revelation. It's a potential bombshell poised to shatter lives. Are you gripping your seat yet? Because you should be. Take a deep breath. The climax is near, and it promises to be a doozy.
Of course, Mr. Martin thinks he's the father. You
Well, I
told
wish he would
him.
get it out his head.
You told him.
Yeah, I
he was.
told him. Just
And now you're here, and you're saying you're 100%
Yes, I'm 100%
positive.
positive.
Mr. Richardson, you are not the father.
What?
Mr. Martin
I told you.
What?
I told you.
You are the father.
I told you.
Hold on to your seats, folks, because today's paternity court episode dives into a tornado of emotions and surprises. Ms. Adams finds herself in a dizzying love triangle, leading to not just one, but two paternity disputes over adorable twins, Kamarian and Kamariana. Are you ready for this roller coaster?
Ms. Adams, you say you were caught in a love triangle, and now the defendant doesn't believe he fathered your 13-month-old twins, Kamarian and Kamariana. You testify that you are 100% certain he is and plan to prove it today in court. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
The confusion begins when Ms. Adams, freshly out of a long-term relationship and feeling vulnerable, meets Mr. Spencer. A fling leads to the birth of twins, but with Ms. Adams' ex also in the picture, the plot thickens! As claims fly from all directions, Ms. Adams asserts Mr. Spencer is the father, but Mr. Spencer doubts, spurred by whispers from the ex's family. Her emotional turmoil and longing for her past relationship complicate the narrative, casting shadows of doubt across what should be a clear situation.
Well, to be honest with you, I got caught up in a love triangle because I was with the same man for 13 years. I had separated. When we separated, I was kind of going through my vulnerable stage and things like that. I had went out actually one day, to the bar, and that's when I had met Markeith. And when I met Markeith, that's when we started, having dealings with each other and things like that.
All right.
Miss Adams' ex's mother throws a curveball, claiming the twins are her biological grandchildren based on their looks. This assertion steers the pot even more, creating a wave of calls and suspicions that maybe, just maybe, the ex might be the father after all. Ms. Adams, still harboring feelings for her ex, doesn't shut these speculations down but fuels them, hoping to reignite an old flame.
I was getting so many phone calls from my ex side of the family and everything about the boy. Kamarian, they were saying he looked like my ex and everything. So it got to the point where I'm just like, whoa, I never thought that Markeith was not the father, but then, she was just telling me, oh, Christian, put two and two together, just think about it. It don't make sense. You already had the babies early, so you could have been already pregnant.
The emotional battlefield is set. Mr. Spencer feels sidelined. The ex's family is emotionally invested, and Ms. Adams is caught in her feelings, manipulating the narrative to fit her desires. As the disputes grow, so do the tensions, with everyone around the twins picking sides based on loyalty and blood ties, not just DNA. The emotional weight of the situation is visible as Ms. Adams struggles with her own desires against the realities of her children's futures.
When did you get wind of the fact that these twins, the beautiful twins, may not be your biological children after you were told that they were?
It was like probably a couple months after I was away, I've been going, I talked to her, kept in contact with her the whole time, like her pregnancy or whatever, we talked, she was, writing me letters and stuff saying like how these was my kids, how she wanted me to come home, be a family with her, stuff like that, and then the communication was changing, like.
As truths start to blur with lies, Ms. Adams admits to playing both sides to maintain her relationship with her ex. This admission throws Mr. Spencer into a whirl of betrayal, having been led to believe he was building a future with his children. The courtroom becomes a scene of confrontation, with family members from both sides weighing in, sharing their heartaches and hopes. The complexities of the relationships are laid bare, as painful as they are, highlighting the gravity of the emotional stakes at play.
So just to be clear, you are the mother of Mitchell, which is Ms. Adams' ex-boyfriend.
Yes.
And I have to ask you, do you believe these are your son's biological children?
Yes, I do.
Please explain to the court.
The first week that they was born, Kristen's mom called me. So she said by now, look, take a look at the babies. Look at these pictures. Something ain't right.
In a climactic turn, everyone's anxiously awaiting the DNA results, their eyes glued to Judge Lake, whose words will potentially alter several lives. The twins' future hangs in balance, their identity shaped not just by biology, but by the tangled emotional web woven by their mother.
Mr. Williams, or Mr. Spencer, is the father of 1-year-old Kamariana Adams Spencer. The biological father is Mr. Spencer.
As Judge Lake prepares to reveal the truth, the courtroom holds its breath. Is the foundation of these children's lives built on lies? Or is there a chance for redemption and healing among the adults who claim to love them most? The only clear victims are the twins, caught in the crossfire of adult complications. How will this saga end? It's time to find out.
The next result is for Kamarian. Mr. Williams, or Mr. Spencer, is the father of 1-year-old Kamarian Zamarian Adams Spencer. The biological father is Mr. Spencer. The biological father. What are you feeling in this moment?
Like if she knew like them was my kids all this time, like ain't.
Ms. Ellis said that she had a brief fling with the defendant, but the man involved says that cannot be true because he never slept with Ms. Ellis. And here is how that insane case began.
Ms. Ellis, you claim you had a brief fling with the defendant 3 years ago. Soon after, you ended up pregnant, and now you hope to prove that he fathered your 3-year-old son, Zamarian.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Coger, you argue it would have to be a medical miracle for you to be her child's father. And you're asking the court not to order a paternity test.
Yes, Your Honor.
I definitely wasn't expecting to hear that. If they did not have sex, how did she get pregnant? Anyway, Judge Lauren proceeded to ask the defendant, Mr. Coger, how their relationship started, and he claimed they kicked off as friends from the start.
Like that, so it came to the point where she wanted to come over and stuff like that. So if she would come over, we would hang out. Over the next course of time, you know, we ended up being home alone. There's nothing wrong with her. It was nothing wrong with me. We both was attracted to each other and came about with, hey, you know, might want to go upstairs and, you know, fool around, mess around or whatever. So that's what happened. We, you know.
Now, their story is quite confusing. Mr. Coger told the judge that, from what he could remember that night, they never had sex. Ms. Ellis, on the other hand, told the judge that they already started having sex before it came to an end due to her feeling some discomfort. To back up his claim, Mr. Coger presented this evidence to the judge.
This is a message.
We never messed around at all.
You said it hurt to have sex, and then you say, Miss Ellis, because it did, but I can take it now.
We never had intercourse at any time.
This only goes to prove that the testimony that you're giving right now is the truth. Because she's saying if you say so, because she thinks you did have sex.
And if we did have sex, why did you inbox me and ask me, am I certain that my son is not yours?
I'm with the judge on that one. Their stories do not sound anything alike. Mr. Coger was done showing the court his evidence. Judge Lauren then faced Ms. Ellis and asked her to give an account of what she remembered happening that night.
And then, you know, we started, you know, talking about like, you know, sexual stuff or whatever. We went upstairs. As he said, he got undressed, I got undressed. And I was like, okay, it hurts. And he was like, you want me to stop? So I was like, no, you can keep going or whatever. So he kept going. And so I was like, okay, now it's starting to hurt a little too bad now. Can you stop or whatever?
So bottom line is, and we'll say this politely.
This is going to be one tough case to settle, trust me. Moving on, Ms. Ellis was out shopping with her mom when she passed out. As soon as that happened, she was rushed to the hospital, where she was hit with a truth bomb from one of the nurses.
Okay, one day, me and my mom, we was out having mother-daughter day, shopping, you know, going out to eat and everything. So we're walking to a shopping mall or whatever, and they say, you know, I passed out. And I had to be rushed to the hospital. I woke up, I'm in the hospital room, I'm not knowing, you know, what's going on, what to do. And so a nurse came in the room and she was like, okay, you had passed out, we feel like you had a heat stroke, so we're gonna give you some fluids and everything, draw some blood to see what happened.
Oh, trust me, that's not the news she was expecting to get from the hospital. Mr. Coger, on the other hand, found out about the pregnancy in a very ridiculous way. When the judge asked him how he found out, this was the reply he gave her.
Wait, what happened? I found out.
I was scrolling, we was friends on Facebook. I scrolled through her pictures, found out she was pregnant. I saw her stomach, you know, she was all pregnant, you know, and stuff like that. So yes, I did ask her, I said, hey, you pregnant? Do, you know, what's your thoughts on it? You know, do you somehow think that it might be mine?
No, you didn't say, do I somehow think it might be yours? You said, is it mine?
I said, do you think the baby is mine? And what did you say?
Well, you heard her. She did not want Mr. Coger to have anything to do with her baby. Another truth bomb is about to hit the floors of the courtroom. Apparently, a week before they messed around in the bedroom, Ms. Ellis was intimate with another man, which then begs the question, how certain is she that Mr. Coger is the father?
A week or so prior to us messing around, yes.
So a week or so prior to you and Mr. Coger having the sex that you may not have had, you were intimate with someone else?
Yes.
Without protection?
Yes.
All right. You have evidence as well. Jerome, let me see that, please. So here, Mr. Coger, you point blank ask, how's the baby? Do you think it's mine? And then you respond, the baby's doing okay, and no, I don't think it's yours. And then you say, okay.
Wow. Ms. Ellis has got to be kidding. She had already told him he was not the father of the child. Why then? Is he in court? Jeez. Anyway, Mr. Coger had his wife by his side in the courtroom. When the judge asked her what she had to say about the situation, this was her response.
I support my husband in the whole thing because there's no reason for him to lie about something that happened before we even got together.
He lied about a lot of things. You don't know about a lot.
He doesn't have to lie about having sex with anyone. And on top of that, he called her in front of me and put it on speakerphone, and he asked her the same incident.
Did he tell you we had sex in the car?
Excuse me, she's speaking to me.
That definitely makes Ms. Ellis look like she's been lying in the courtroom. One thing is for sure, though. The DNA results never lie about these kinds of situations. Let's find out who the father of the child is.
Mr. Koger, you are Zamarian's father. Is your memory coming back now?
Not at all. Not at all, Jana. Not at all. I don't have no reason to lie about it or, damn.
What are you thinking, Miss Ellis?
Because he's still denying the fact that we had sex. It's nothing to deny. I'm not finna lie on somebody saying I had sex with somebody if I didn't. That's not the type of person I am.
Mr. Calhoun claimed that his girlfriend, Ms. Prout, tricked him into believing he was the father of her child. After finding evidence that she had been sleeping with other men, he claimed that the DNA results would show that he was not the father. Trust me, it was a case like no other. He opened his case like this.
Mr. Calhoun, you say the defendant tried to trick you into believing you are her daughter Amaya's biological father. But after uncovering evidence that she slept with other men, you are positive the DNA will prove you are not. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Prout, you claim that you are positive that Mr. Calhoun is Amaya's father, and the only reason he is denying her is because you put him on child support. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
It seems that Mr. Calhoun was not ready to have a romantic relationship with the defendant. Even after he made it clear he did not want a relationship, they continued to kick it in bed, and after some time, Ms. Prout found out she was pregnant.
You still continued to have sex with him after he made it clear he didn't want to be in a relationship?
Correct, Your Honor, I did.
And at some point you found out you were pregnant?
Yes, ma'am. Me and a family member of his, we went to the store. I bought a pregnancy test, went back to his house, took the test. It was positive. The lines were fainted. The next day I told him and showed him the test, but we were both in disbelief.
That's not true, Your Honor.
We were both in disbelief, Your Honor, that I was pregnant. He said he didn't believe me, but he wanted a DNA test. So in somewhere in there, you believed that I was pregnant because you wanted a DNA test.
Wow! Mr. Calhoun really didn't want anything serious with Ms. Prout. Blocking her on all social media is just very extreme. Mr. Calhoun told the judge that he believed she had taken fertility pills to get pregnant just because she wanted to be with him, but Ms. Prout claimed it was a lie by saying,
she called me and said that she had took fertility medicine to get pregnant by me, and she got exactly what she wanted out of me.
Oh, did you say that, Ms. Prout?
No, Your Honor, that was not what was said. I did not take any fertility pills. Once I found out I was pregnant, let me tell you how crazy. This is the crazy part. I did not believe I was pregnant. I went to about 4 or 5 different emergency rooms, and they all confirmed I was pregnant. I was still in disbelief. Went to 3 clinics. They said I was pregnant.
I mean, they were not using protection while kicking it in bed, so why doesn't she believe she is pregnant? Now, Ms. Prout had her calendar showing the window of conception, which placed Mr. Calhoun as the father of the baby. When asked if he agreed with the dates, he said this.
When you look at that window of conception, Mr. Calhoun, do you have any issue
Yes, ma'am.
with the dates?
Yes, Your Honor.
You don't believe you were intimate on
there's
July
no issue with the dates, but I'm saying I feel like I have reason to believe that she was intimate with other dudes besides me during those dates.
Really? How do you have reason to believe that?
I have reason to believe that after a conversation that me and Miss Prout had on the phone, she told me that she was having sex with a dude all the way up until the day of the July 24th.
Now, it all makes sense. Mr. Calhoun was not the only man she was sleeping with at the time. Funny enough, Ms. Prout did not deny messing with another man. She claimed that she did sleep with someone else but cut ties with the person before the window of conception.
Yes, I was having sex with someone, but this was way before these 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks prior I had stopped messing with somebody else because I knew I was going to run into him at the parties. At the end of the day, he really denied my baby because he on child support. Period. Points. That's it.
It has no.
It has been back and forth. One minute I'm the daddy, I'm happy, whoop-de-whoop, blam. Then the next minute I'm not the daddy when you get hit with them papers.
Now, why would she lie about the hospital not being able to perform a DNA test? What could she possibly be hiding? Mr. Calhoun told the judge that even though he signed the birth certificate, he still had doubts about the paternity of the child. These were some of his doubts.
My doubts come from, I'm walking to the store. I get to the store, I run into 2 neighborhood partners that I knew growing up, and they like, you got a baby by Miss Prout? And I'm like, yeah, supposedly. She says her little girl is mine. And they tell me, that's crazy because she said she had a baby by me before. And when I asked her to produce the paperwork and produce the pregnancy test, it was non-producible.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Oh boy, that has to sting. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes after hearing something like that. Now here is the crazy thing. He was not just talking. He had evidence to prove that what he was saying was true.
From Mr. Calhoun, why you posting this pic if you said I was the father? From Kia, Miss Prout, you a dumb blank. You signed the birth certificate knowing you ain't the father, and then you changed her last name while I was still drugged up.
I posted it, Your Honor. Yeah.
You a dumb blank.
Yeah,
And the only thing
But now you standing here saying, you the father, I don't know why you denying it. I know why he denying it. That.
After saying and posting that conversation on Facebook, I don't believe a word coming out of her mouth. Now, there was a witness in the courtroom, and she happened to be Ms. Prout's god sister. She claimed she had more details about how things really went down in their relationship.
My god sister was having unprotected sex with another man. Also, before he came into the picture, myself and also other members felt that my god sister was already pregnant because of her demeanor. Her mood,
what do you mean?
Her mood changed. She was very moody. So when he did come into the picture, they had unprotected sex, of course. A week later, she took a pregnancy test. That's not enough time to consider him a possibility.
Wow. Now, that has to be one hell of a revelation. Anyway, there is only one way to find out the truth, and that is to reveal the DNA test. Without wasting any time, the judge revealed the results, and this was her verdict.
Mr. Calhoun, you are the father. Wow.
Wow.
Why are you so upset, Miss Prout?
Y'all don't know what I've been through with this man. Like, this whole beef thing, I can't co-parent like that. Either we gonna co-parent the right way or it's just not gonna happen and we can go to court and figure it out like that.
Ms. Cousin and her mother had one goal in that courtroom, and that was to prove to her ex-boyfriend and his new girlfriend that he was the father of her child. Trust me, these guys weren't here to play. From the looks on both their faces, they were ready to fight till there was no more strength in them, and this was how it all started.
Miss Cousin, you and your mother say you had no choice but to drag the defendant, Mr. Bell, into court today because you're fed up with his lies.
Yes,
He denies being the father of your 7-month-old son, Taquan, and has even gone to the extreme by blocking all contact with you. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Bell, you say that Miss Cousin has told you that you are not Quan's father and say she's trying to use this baby to bust up your 6-year relationship. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Everyone in that courtroom was tense. Ms. Cousin's mom was a force not to be reckoned with. She had all the power in the world to fight anyone who wronged her and her daughter. She wasn't the one who was hurt, but she sure was doing all the talking in that courtroom.
Lies because he a two-time liar. He told my daughter that he was single, that he was not in a relationship.
Why you can't
I know he was in a relationship with her
man.
because I seen his picture on her phone when she started being with him. I seen how her attitude changed.
Who did I sleep
I
with,
knew
you or
then
her?
that she was pregnant.
Who did I sleep with, you or her?
I met you at a relative house.
Apparently, Mr. Bell lied to his daughter and told her he was not in any relationship, but deep down, he had been seeing someone else. Mr. Bell was definitely not going to keep quiet while they dragged his name through the mud.
We went out once, but that was it. A whole weekend? No. I had to get back to her.
You went out once, a whole weekend, yes. And then not only that, y'all had lunch together.
Can she let her daughter talk?
I
She wasn't there.
Room. I go in her room. I found receipts with 2 combos on it. I asked her what the combos for. For him and her. You know, at the end of the day.
2 combos
meal
for lunch.
Mr. Bell wasn't just sleeping with her, he was also using her to sort out some of his bills. Ms. Cousin was furious. She couldn't understand why a man would lie to her daughter and still manipulate her into paying his bills.
When she should have been.
Were you paying his phone bill?
Yes. While she was paying his phone bill and buying him lunch, I was also doing other things for me and my husband to have a roof over our head. We don't have no other income, but what my husband do is work. And at the end of the day, I want Cortez to step up and take the responsibility and be a man and help take care of his son.
Mr. Bell wasn't changing his story. He stood firm with his side of the story and said everything they accused him of was a big, fat lie. There was no relationship between them, and all he did was flirt with her and eat whatever food she offered him. Nothing more. He even went as far as saying they had sex in the car, and she never visited his house. Wow.
You said you already ate the food because she was buying it.
Yeah, she offered.
So, Mr. Bell, you said this was a one-time thing when you had sex with...
In a car.
Okay, so you had sex in a car. Did you use protection?
Yes.
No lie.
Yes.
No lie. Miss Cousin and her mom, they're claiming that this was going on. This was an ongoing relationship. That's not true?
No.
Yes, it is true, Your Honor.
Destiny, I see the tears in your eyes.
When Miss Cousin's daughter found out she was pregnant, she called Mr. Bell to tell him about it. And on the spot, he denied the pregnancy, saying it couldn't be his, and he wanted nothing to do with the baby.
When I came home, I called him. I said, I'm pregnant. He said, oh, well, call me back. Let me know what you gonna do. And that was it, and he hung up the phone.
Did you tell your manager at work?
I told my manager, because that's the day that my back was hurting. She said,
And she
you could
told
go.
me the baby wasn't mine. I don't want
Why
the
is
baby by
you-
you anyway.
Wait, he just said that you told him the baby wasn't his.
He's a compulsive liar. All he do
No,
is
you and
lie.
your mama a
But
compulsive
Mr.
liar.
Bell, you said that she didn't tell you, she told the manager, and the manager told you.
Yes.
It was turning into an unending catastrophe in the courtroom. The judge had taken enough of their rants and arguments, and she decided it was time to bring the situation to a close by reading out the DNA results. Who do you think the father of the child would be? Mr. Baker or his so-called best friend?
Mr. Bell, you are the father.
Thank you, Lord Jesus. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I'll
Mr.
take
Allen.
my child support papers in the mail.
You've been chirping off all day.
All
It
day.
is what it-
You could not let them get a sentence out
Mm-hmm.
without
what it is.
downplaying everything they said. Everything.
You got two innocent women standing here.
Both of them crying.
Sad and hard.
And you got
Because
your
you
hands
played the
behind your
game.
back and your body language is saying you could care less.
After finding out she had a terminal illness, Ms. Holshoe seeks to uncover the true identity of who her biological father is, only to find out the most shocking surprises on her journey. It's one roller coaster to the next in this episode. Let's dive right into it. The case began like this.
Miss Holshoe, you claim your mother had an affair with the defendant's father, and today you're in court to prove that he is your biological father. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Miss Howard, you and your sisters say Miss Holshoe is a delusional troublemaker whose promiscuous mother destroyed your family and ruined your home.
Now things get really heated in a matter of seconds. It felt like they all hated themselves from their previous lives. Apparently, the alleged father had passed away, but his daughters for sure weren't going to welcome Ms. Holshoe with open arms.
Also, I'm in the obituary as his daughter.
You are?
Yes, I am, ma'am.
That was a big mistake that her name was put into the obituary. Our father's sister did that.
No.
And did not tell any of us about it. Our father didn't even mention her.
Nope. That's
So why
lying,
would
ma'am.
she be put in the obituary if no one ever mentioned her or knew about her?
Our father's sister and her mother were best friends, and our aunt is the one that told her.
Ms. Holshoe found out she had a real dad in the most awkward way. Trust me, your mind isn't gonna believe what you're about to hear. Her stepdad and mom were having an argument. Boom! The bomb drops and she can't believe what she hears.
Because my stepdad was drunk and he was fighting with my mother, and he said, well, who do you think your father is? And so after that, my mother told me, and she took me and introduced me to DL, and we had a relationship from then on.
What would you like to add?
Your Honor, first and foremost, I just want to say, I mean, I don't get me wrong, I feel for her that she has cancer.
Now the sisters, for sure, weren't going easy on Ms. Holshoe. They felt she was an imposter who was trying to spoil their family's name. They stood their ground and denied every single thing Ms. Holshoe said in the courtroom. Trust me, it was quite a show.
I was 19 at the time.
So you remember this day?
Oh, with clearly, like it was yesterday. They were sitting in a booth with my dad across from her and her mother. I was standing at the end, and he said, I just brought you guys here to let you know that she's your sister. And that was the one and only time that my dad ever mentioned her till the day he died. He had never mentioned it to any of the rest of us.
So your dad said it to you?
Yes.
Some really interesting stories started to fly around the courtroom. Everyone was trying to air out their minds and beliefs. In the process, some nasty revelations jumped out. Trust me, they weren't nice, and some of it was just super fishy. But Ms. Holshoe stood her ground by saying,
My father had gone to at the bar where her mother was working and caught her cheating on him. That gave me
No topic.
The thought that obviously her mother probably has no idea who any of her children belong to.
Really? It's not my fault you guys don't want to know me. It's not my fault that your dad had sex with my mother and I'm a product of that.
And it's not our fault that they both did it either.
The courtroom was pretty heated up at this point, with both parties throwing shade at each other. Another one of their sisters walks into the courtroom. Surprisingly, she's on Ms. Holshoe's side. She believes that there is a chance that Ms. Holshoe is her sister. Now that's interesting, wouldn't you say?
What is your opinion?
I believe that she is.
You do. Tell
Yes,
the
I
court
do.
why.
Because my father told me that she was.
She just needs a family, Your Honor, because her whole family, she's shut out. They've shut her out because she's such a devil.
About that moment when you were informed or your father told you.
Well, we were out one day, and I was about 19, and he said that he wanted me to meet one of his girlfriends. Okay, I had met several of them before.
Thought you said you were 17.
No big deal.
Now she had quite a lot to say. Not only did she back up Ms. Holshoe's claim of being their sister, she also said their father was no saint. He was also messing around with other women. Wow.
Oh, we don't.
Our dad is all of our hero.
That our father slept around.
He is our hero to this day. And I'm not going to bash him, but yes, he loved women. And that's just the way it was. Some men hunt, some men don't.
Okay, well said. Now, your sisters seem to think that Miss Holshoe's just trying to stir the pot. She's trying to get into your family.
The tension was palpable, but no worries, because the moment of truth was here. It was time to spill the beans on whether she was really his daughter, or if it was all a joke. All eyes were on the judge as she got ready to give the final verdict.
That the probability of half-siblingship between Diana Howard and Misty Lynn Holshoe is 98.1%.
Sorry. I have no problem with them. It's them. They hate me. I have no problem whatsoever with them women.
It was unlike any case Judge Lauren had ever seen before. Ms. Osborne claimed that her mother hid the identity of her father without giving any tangible reason for doing so. She was in court with her aunt to find out the real identity of her father. The case began with Ms. Osborne saying,
Ms. Osborne, you have brought your mother to court because you claim she lied to you about the identity of your biological father. You are here to prove Billy Jack Fitzmaurice is your dad. You and your aunt petitioned the court for paternity tests to finally prove the truth. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, tell me why any mother would do that to their child. I would have lost my mind if I were to be in Ms. Osborne's shoes. When her mom broke the mind-blowing news to her, she ran to her aunt immediately and asked her if her mother was telling the truth.
Savannah was very upset because she thought that Billy, my brother, was not her father, and I assured her that I believe 100% that Billy is her father.
You've never had a doubt?
I've never had a doubt.
So until you were 12 years old, Ms. Osborne, you were told this was your father?
Yes,
You even lived with his family?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you are looking for the worst mom on earth, Ms. Osborne's mom fits that description without breaking a sweat. Since she claimed that she never argued with the family or tried to change her daughter's mind, then who has been playing the role of the father all this while?
For 12 years, who were you saying was her biological father?
I didn't say who was her father.
But she's living with his family.
Yes, and at the time, his family took her in. I was young, and I knew that they would have a good life for her, and they stepped up and asked to take her, and I knew that they could provide a better life for her at that time because I was young and naive and stupid.
Now that is one confession Ms. Osborne is never going to forget. With the look on her face, you could tell she felt betrayed by her mother. And if we are being honest, you really can't blame her for feeling that way. She was furious that she had to wait so long to find out the truth about her real father.
Because I just want to know the truth of who my father is. I shouldn't have to wait until I was 12 years old to figure this out. I should have known that there was not a possibility before I grew attached to my father and grew a bond with my whole family.
Your mom kind of dropped a bomb on you at 12 years old. Wow. I mean, when you hear that, and you had to live with this now for 8 years. You're 20 now.
8 years now.
At least the judge got her to look at her mother because it was starting to feel like she was never going to. Ms. Osborne faced her mother. She decided to tell her how she really felt growing up, not knowing her father's real identity. This was how that boat sailed.
I was confused. I was 12 years old. I was raised around my dad's family for 12 years. And then all of a sudden, they could be just some strangers that I'm living with.
They will never be strangers.
Of course they won't. They'll always be my family now. But what if they never were?
I'm sorry, I truly am, but I'm here today to try to make it right for you. So you will know 100% if he's your father.
Isn't that just beautiful to listen to? Her mother actually felt bad for keeping such a huge secret from her. Ms. Osborne's mom was not the only one who got emotional about the whole situation. Her aunt also felt very sad when her mom told her she never wanted to hurt her.
You have tears in your eyes as you stand next to the young woman you believe is your niece.
Yes, Savannah is my niece, and I love her dearly. And we were always told from day one from Donna that Savannah was our I call her our baby, but our niece. The way we met Donna was under difficult circumstances. My brother, he had a wild life.
Well, he isn't here to defend himself, but Ms. Osborne's mom told the judge that she never for once told the man they believed was the biological father that he was actually her father. She claimed that he took it upon himself and assumed that Ms. Osborne was his daughter.
Billy Jack is the one that took it upon himself to assume that Savannah was his when I told him I was pregnant. I had told both men that I was pregnant, and they took it upon themselves to believe if they was the father or not.
That's not true. That's not true.
It is true.
She told me as well that Savannah was my brother's daughter.
Those words never came out of my mouth.
Yes, they did.
If there is one thing you can appreciate about her mother, it's the fact that she is a very honest woman. The judge then asked Ms. Osborne if she had ever met the man her mom claimed to be her real dad. This was the reply she gave to the judge.
I do not have a connection with him whatsoever. He is the father of my sister and my brothers, but I wouldn't want that to be my father. I want Billy to be my father because that's who I have always known to be my father, and it's gonna really hurt if it's otherwise.
So your sister, you say it was fathered by the other man.
That's what I was told, but I also believe that my dad is her dad.
Unlike Ms. Osborne, her sister believed that the other guy was her father. She claimed that she had never met the man Ms. Osborne believed to be her father, and for that reason alone, there was no way she could believe he could be her father.
I believe that the other guy is my father because, I mean, I've never met Billy Jack. I've never even seen him. I've just heard stories of his crimes and crazy lifestyle. I have a connection, a relationship with my father or the other guy and and his family, yeah.
Who do you believe Savannah's biological father is?
I'm not sure.
Well, with all the similarities going on and the situation of both ladies having different fathers, I think it's time we see what the DNA results have to say about the whole situation. I hope you're ready because here it comes.
Ms. Brooks and Jasmine are not related. Ms. Brooke and Savannah are related.
I love you, Savannah, so much. And I'm so happy that it came out the way you wanted it. And I love you, Jasmine.
Now, this wasn't her first time coming to the paternity court. She had been here before. Guess what? The initial reason that brought her here is the same damn reason that she's here again. Some people don't just learn. This was how their mystery in court started.
Ms. Kavanaugh, you appeared in our courtroom previously and tested 2 men as potential fathers of your 1-month-old son, Malcolm.
Yes, Your Honor.
Unfortunately, neither turned out to be his biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, today, you believe Malcolm's biological father is a good friend of your mother's, the defendant, Mr. Spence.
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Kavanaugh was no good girl, trust me. It was written all over her face. She had been quite mischievous. This time around, she didn't just get intimate with any random guy. She got intimate with her mom's friend. She has some serious balls, trust me.
It is bad. I started calling him up asking for like rides, you know, to the grocery store, you know, to get stuff from my house, and subconsciously I was trying to try to seduce him. I was wearing inappropriate things around him.
And why were you doing this?
In all honesty, I was drinking a lot. And I don't know if I did it for like, you know, a challenge or...
The things Ms. Kavanaugh said would make a priest want to go to confession. They were beyond this world, believe me. Mr. Sense, on the other hand, didn't sound convincing when defending himself. I mean, do you just randomly sleep with your friend's daughter? Hell no.
It was like she said, came over a couple of times. She was in inappropriate gear. The first time, I shunned it off. Second time, I said, hey, watch yourself. Third time, it's starting to look good. Fourth time, lapse in judgment, and here we are today.
Wow, so how many times were you intimate with her?
Once.
Listening to everything that pops out of both their mouths was really uncomfortable. But let's proceed, shall we? I mean, there was 1-month-old kid involved. These two really do need some counseling.
I see a little bit, but from being in court previously, I found out that you can't always go on looks at all.
Found out you were pregnant. Did Mr. Spence's name come to mind immediately?
No, Your Honor. It really was like, I thought Mr. Bowles was the dad. Well, after the court, I started thinking, well...
Moving on. When Ms. Kavanaugh found out she was pregnant, Mr. Spence's name did not pop up in her head as the potential father. Damn. Apparently she wasn't just fooling around with him. I would definitely give her an ass whooping if she were my child.
he could be a possibility that Mr. Spence is the father. And I texted him and I asked him, when was the last time we had sex? He told me it was the end of October.
And when was Malcolm born?
He was born July 9th.
So when you do the math on that, that's
yes, Your Honor.
About the window of conception.
Yes, Your Honor.
I think we need to hear from your mother. Ma'am, please stand. Welcome back, Ms. Kavanaugh.
Ms. Kavanaugh's mom took the stand, and oh boy, did she have a lot to say about her daughter and her so-called friend. She said she noticed the eye contact they gave each other when they met. Deep down in her heart, she knew something was gonna go down.
I questioned each of them. They each denied that anything had happened. Then basically how I found out, one day Megan was angry with me and we had kind of a little tiff or whatever. It was kind of a big tiff, but when we did, she blurted out that you were right. And I did sleep with Ken.
Really?
He eventually did come clean and tell me the truth, and he told me the same story that he told you today, Your Honor.
The courtroom was filled with nothing short of shock. The most insane revelations started to surface, and these two had a lot of explaining to do. Another epic blockbuster takes the stage. Mr. Spencer happens to be married. I knew this guy had some secrets. He was willing to be the father, but he sure had doubts.
Doubt is, first of all, it was only one.
The window of conception that she described. Baby born in July.
I'm there, yeah.
So you within the window of conception.
I'm in
you
that
don't
period.
dispute that.
I do not dispute.
All
That's
right.
why I'm here.
Right.
That is why I'm here.
Do you have any knowledge as to whether or not she was sleeping with other people during
Yes.
that time?
Yes, she told me.
Well, the suspense is finally over, and the hassle of who the dad of their child is about to be revealed. It's been a bumpy and funny ride with Mr. Spence and Ms. Kavanaugh. All eyes are on the judge as she unleashes the truth.
Mr. Spence, you are not his father.
Okay.
Ms. Kavanaugh, we back here again. I know this isn't where you wanted to be.
I never wanted to be this person, Your Honor.
You know what, look. Yes, you've done some things you're not proud of. Moving on, as I say in this courtroom all the time.
Their love was hanging by a thread. The agitated plaintiff was fed up with the defendant's acts, and trust me, he was in no way ready to shape up. He had reasons to suspect the paternity of the child strongly. This was how the case began.
Miss Sand, you opened your case today in hopes of saving your relationship with the defendant. You say the only reason he is denying your 4-month-old son, Jade, is because he's an insecure man. If the defendant doesn't change his ways after you prove he is the father, then the relationship is over. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
It was a love or burst situation between Ms. Sand and Mr. Hundley, with both parties fighting almost every damn day. Ms. Sand wasn't having it at all. Her face showed she was running out of patience, and if he didn't fix up, she was gonna bolt.
Yes, Your Honor. Everything is actually on the line. I'm tired of being accused of cheating. I'm tired of him saying that it's not my son. I'm tired of just everything.
So this is really impacting your relationship?
It is.
What is it like in your home right now?
We fight probably like 3-4 times every week out of the week.
Constant fighting?
Constantly.
So all because of this paternity secret?
Yes.
That crack in their love sequel started to unveil 1 month after they got together. Hold up, just 1 month? That was pretty fast. Baby mama was a busybody on the phone talking to different men, and that sure didn't sit well with Mr. Hundley. And so the drama begins.
And so this paternity secret, does it come up in these arguments?
It does, constantly.
Yeah.
This is what we see. This is what paternity secrets do to relationships. Somehow they're woven in every argument, every dysfunction, everything. You could be arguing about who paid the light bill, and the next thing you know that baby ain't mine either. That's what happened.
Well, it all started with a text message, Your Honor.
Ouch! She drops a shell-breaking message in one of her conversations with her random men. She tells the guy she's single and isn't in any relationships. I bet you're itching to see Mr. Hundley's reaction. Trust me, it's priceless.
I'm the same person.
What is solo dolo?
Single. Basically, you're single.
So the man asked you about your relationship status and you told him you were single?
Yes.
But you were really in a relationship with Mr. Hundley?
Yes.
We talked about that situation. Like when it happened, we got in our grown man, grown woman, we talked the situation out. But then we got new phones after this. She get a message from the same number.
It was not the same
It was
number.
the same
It wasn't
number.
even the same person.
She say it's not.
It wasn't even the same
It was
person.
the same.
Now Mr. Hundley was already fed up. I mean, which normal guy won't be? They go on to change their phones because it's already a situation where nobody trusts anybody. The same guy she used to text and cheat with hits her up again. Something ain't right here.
That was like, okay, so how did he text you? Like, how did you get your number now? You got a new phone. She talking about, I don't know. That's her excuse to me. She don't know how you got it.
Was it the same guy? Was it the same guy, Miss Sand?
No,
Were you
it was
cheating
not, Your
again?
Honor. No, it was not, Your Honor.
So why was it the same number?
It wasn't the same number, Your
Who
Honor.
was it then?
It was somebody that I used to hang out with before Jade and I.
A man?
Yes, ma'am.
How did he get the new phone?
It wasn't a new phone. It was a new phone, but it was not a new number.
The pressure is building, and all Mr. Hundley can feel at this moment is pain. The juice of the drama starts to unfold, and he finds out that his woman sneaks out at night to get intimate with the guy she's been texting.
I would like to see it.
All right.
You can step over to your exhibit.
All right, so this is New Year's, right? And I want to say we was playing beer pong, we was enjoying ourselves, like having a good time. Like she's telling me she's going to bed. Like, and I like, okay, but I'm still playing beer pong, so I'm gonna stay down there for a little minute. So I did that. She went upstairs. I'm thinking she upstairs asleep. So I'm like, all right. So then I go upstairs after I'm done playing. I'll tell everybody I'm going to bed.
The air in the courtroom grew shorter, and the news of the baby came to trump all that. Mr. Handley didn't receive the news well, and you wouldn't blame him, honestly. There was no atom of trust, and he was not going to be a dad to a kid he wasn't sure of. Brace yourself because you're about to be shocked again.
So what I want to be clear about is, Mr. Hundley, your position is, I've left a similar bruise in that area when we were intimate. Was she intimate with somebody else that night?
Yes, ma'am.
And I know 100% I didn't sleep with anyone.
First off, and your ex be coming over there.
No, he don't.
Yes,
no, they all
do.
kept, no.
Her ex come over there a lot.
No, he does not.
Her people mess with him.
He came over there a couple times.
He was there for the pregnancy. He was there for child support. He was there for the emotional balance. And Ms. Hundley slams him with the "you are not the dad" phrase. Now that's a lot of contradiction. What exactly is going on?
Like, yeah, she told me.
We had gotten
into it.
She told me I'm not the father.
She told you you aren't the father?
Yes, ma'am.
He basically, like, accused me of cheating. He told me he was leaving. Like, I was already depressed from being pregnant. So I already, like, just felt emotional in some type of way about it. And I'd said something out of anger, yes.
What did she say?
She flat told me I'm not the dad. She talking about, she said something about leaving.
Well, let's draw the curtains on the whole charade. The moment of truth is finally here, and the DNA results are about to reveal who the real dad is. Are you ready? Because I am. Let's find out the truth, shall we?
Mr. Hundley, you are the father. You are the father.
Man, yeah, this is the best feeling, man. I can't even explain it. Hey, yeah, that's my little homie, man. Man.
You set out to break a cycle.
These high school sweethearts were for sure not having it with each other anymore, bouncing from cheating to pathological liars, and now there's a baby involved. You can bet there's a lot of drama circled around these guys. The case began like this.
Miss Shands, you appear in court today because you are devastated that your first love and the person you lost your virginity to is now denying your 15-month-old son, Aiden. You say once you prove to the defendant that he is the father, you hope you two can finally be a family. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
As you would imagine, Judge Lauren wasn't going to go easy on these guys. They looked like kids. You could feel in the tone of her voice that she couldn't wait to give these two high school sweethearts some spanking.
But claim to know who did. Is this correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
I've read through the court file, and this is a classic case of babies having babies. I'm gonna start with you, Ms. Shands. Tell the court, what do you want to accomplish today?
Today, I would like to accomplish that Amir is the father of my child. He has been in my baby life ever since my baby has been 3 months. He's my first love, my first kiss, my first everything.
Now, the love story between Mr. Hollis and Ms. Shands started when they were in middle school. Things seemed pretty sweet back then, but hold up, things took a twisted turn when he found out she was messing around with some of his friends. Oops.
Like, it just, after middle school, like, after when we hit high school, everything was going straight, like, her freshman year. But after that, like, when we had got into that one argument, we broke up, and then that was that, and she started messing with my homeboy, and she started messing with multiple people.
Your Honor, me and his was close friends once before.
They was, but they
She used to come back and tell me that Mr. Amir, he was messing with one of my friends.
Mr. Hollis was no saint either. He was also messing about with some of her friends. Sneaky little teenagers, wouldn't you say? Ms. Shan said they weren't so smart at the time and didn't really know what they were doing because they were young. Well, Judge Lauren slammed her straight up, and trust me, she wasn't nice.
I don't know.
And we both were young at the time. We both were young. So
both y'all young now?
Yeah, we still are young. We still are young. But I thought it was cool to go mess with one of his friends because he have slept with one of mine. We both had made a mistake.
No.
We both made a mistake.
That's not how it is.
All right.
This is really what went on.
In no time, the courtroom turned into a kids' assembly with both Mr. Hollis and Ms. Shands chattering, "No, I didn't sleep with your best friend. No, he was my best friend. No, he wasn't your best friend." Judge Lauren was boiling like she was made of lava.
Be just out playing a sport, learning a craft. This just sounds about silly. So you have revenge sex with one of his friends. And did you use protection?
No.
And then how many times did you have sex with this friend of his?
Multiple times.
Multiple times. But were you also still being intimate with Mr. Hollis?
Well, we had
broke up. When me and his friend had an affair, we wasn't together.
Now, Ms. Shands finds out she's pregnant. Ain't no surprise there. She picks up her phone and beeps Mr. Hollis's friend. Ring, 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 I'm pregnant. Surprising thing, he was pretty excited about the baby. But here's the plot twist. She also tells Mr. Hollis she's pregnant too.
You find out you're pregnant. You tell the other guy first. What was his response?
Well, he was happy. He was happy.
And so you also tell Mr. Hollis?
I told him, like, not as soon as I got pregnant. He ended up finding out on the street. But I ended up telling him. I ended up telling him. And I guess he ended up telling his mom as well. And I was telling them that it's a possibility.
Fast forward to when the baby is born. Mr. Hollis is nowhere to be found. Not at the hospital, not anywhere. Guess who shows up? The best friend. Mr. Hollis then goes on to say he didn't even know she was pregnant or she went into labor. When he found out, she wouldn't let him be around her. I smell something fishy.
Miss Shands, when you give birth, who was with you?
The friend was with me when Aiden was born.
In the hospital?
In the hospital. In labor.
In labor.
And my mom, I sent my mom there because I knew there was a possibility that my son could be the dad as well. He favored my son when he was born.
So wait, and so Mr. Hollis, you just didn't want to be there or you felt like you weren't invited?
I wasn't never invited. Like, anything I ever found out about the baby, I found out about myself. Like,
Judge Lauren couldn't hide her irritation from these kids no more. It was turning into a reality show for kids, and the judge was not going to have any of that in her courtroom. Things just kept going from bad to worse.
Why are you now saying Mr. Hollis is the baby's father?
Because, like, my baby had more futures than the other guy.
Yes, he did.
He looked nothing like the other guy at all.
I FaceTimed her and told her that it looked like I said, Aiden looks like Amir.
And what did she say, Mom?
It's a possibility.
After all the back and forth of kids giving birth to kids, the moment of truth is finally here. It's time we draw the curtains on these kids' funny behaviors and find out the truth. Take a seat back and focus your eyes on the judge.
Mr. Hollis, you are not the father. I see tears in your eyes, Ms. Shands, because I know how desperately you wanted Mr. Hollis to be Aiden's biological father. Their families formed a bond with your son, but unfortunately now we know the truth. You're a beautiful young woman,